Okay, each of these shapes is associated with a specific function. And the function for this shape is y equals x squared. If we can construct a graph of y equals x squared, by construct, I mean construct. Don't punch it into Desmos or your calculator and let it do the work. Make it yourself, okay? And I'll give you more instructions shortly on how that's done. Okay, this curve is y equals 2 to the x. Now, the way we construct these graphs is we evaluate each of these functions at up to 7 different values of x, and from that we get the associated curve. Evaluate this at these values of x. Some of the values of x are negative, so you got to be able to do 2 to the negative power. Okay, like 2 to the negative 2 or 2 to the negative 1. Many people, even though they've had the prerequisite courses, don't have a clue how to use a negative exponent. So we're going to have to talk about that. I'm addressing this quick overview sort of at people who do kind of remember these things. Rule for negative exponents is very simple. It should be very familiar once you see it. But if not, it's easy to learn. Okay, the function here is, I'll write it up here, y equals 1 over x. These are our first 3 toolkit functions. This is called the reciprocal function. This is called the exponential function. This is called the quadratic function, the squaring function. Okay, without the squaring function, we can call it quadratic function. Specifically, these are our first three toolkit functions. Going to use f of x so we have something to call these functions. Y equals f of x equals x squared. So if we're talking about the base toolkit squaring function, here it is. And if we want to refer to it by name, we'll call it f of x. If we want to use notation, we can also call it the toolkit squaring function. Okay, so this toolkit squaring function. I'm using abbreviations here because I don't want to take any more of your time than necessary. Okay, and then if we're talking about the exponential function, this is your toolkit exponential function. And finally, if we're talking about the reciprocal function, and we want to be consistent, call it f of x2, f of x also, we don't want to use 2. Okay, anyhow, y equals f of x equals 1 over x is your toolkit reciprocal function. Okay, so 3 toolkit functions. There are, as I say, a number more, but we understand these 3. We start by understanding these 3, and then we have a context for understanding the rest, which are no more difficult to understand than these are. Now, what I've done here in each case is I've actually constructed a graph of the function on a 4x4 rectangle. 4x4 square, it is a rectangle, we call it a square. Obviously, if the sides are the same. Okay, on a 4x4 square, where the red dot in each case represents the origin of your coordinate system. So we're going to see how that works out. But those are the not necessarily the definitions I'm going to use ultimately, but this is the way we start understanding these functions.